Welcome to the Verdin Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verdin. Here is our practice film breakdown for LSU. First day for the media, not too much takeaways. I do have some interesting notes for the offensive line depth, wide receiver depth, things of that nature. For the offensive scrimmage that we have rolled out here, the wide receivers, they put Aaron Anderson, Trades Green as a tight end, but come on, he's still a wideout. Chris Hilton, Xavier Thomas, the running back, obviously, Caden Durham. For the offensive line, going left to right, Tyree Adams at tackle, Paul Mubenga, DJ Chester, both Bordelon at right guard, and Weston Davis at right tackle. Now, that's not the final offensive lineup. They are going to have some more people come in. Josh Thompson, obviously Braylon Moore is going to be the projected starter for center. He was in the second rotation. He's not absent. He's just kind of getting mixed in. And that's why I'm saying these lineups and rotations you see right now, they're not finalized. They're nowhere near finalized. You see that Nussmeier to Hilton connection. I'm really looking forward to seeing that develop this season. I really think Chris Hilton is a super underrated wide receiver, and the health might have a little bit of a play into that, but I think this could be a big year for him as well. Xavier Thomas, I kind of want to know that. That's an interesting addition into this lineup. A lot of people wouldn't have thought that they'd go with two smaller wide receivers. You would think that maybe a Nick Anderson would get thrown out there. But I'm going to profess this entire rotational depth breakdown just like I did with the offensive line. These wide receiver rotations, it's not finalized. You're going to plug and play a lot of guys. I think you're really just trying to see who's getting comfortable, who's getting in, who's getting out. You see Joe Sloan there on the C2P, the headset, called a player with Nussmark. Got a little walkie-talkie, communicating with him, probably ripping him for that last pass to Aaron Anderson. But I feel like this team, you see the energy, you see the vibe. They're running on the field screaming, yelling, excited to be playing in 50-degree weather at damn near 7 o'clock in the morning. That overall energy is contagious. I mean, it's indicative of a team that's bought in and focused on one common goal. I'm excited to see what happens here. Michael Van Buren stepping up. His offensive line rotation that he sees left to right. Carius Kearns, Solomon Thomas, Braylon Moore at center, Cohen Eccles, and then Ethan Callaway at right tackle. Once again, this is probably just a test, trying to see who's comfortable with who's potentially a depth piece in these spots. Speaking of depth, we got Cale Jackson right here, and I want to put a note on him and really his entire role this spring. Caden Durham's going to be the lead back. Caden Durham is your number one. You're going to have to see how he responds to this. If you want to know the wideouts that are out there, Destin Hill, Kyle Parker, Berrien Brown, Bayer Sharp. Berrien's right here, number 6. Destin, number 2. Kyle, number 12. Kyle does have a red shirt on, probably confusing some people right here, but it's a non-contact. He's still recovering from that injury. He's recovering well, so much so where they're going to put him out there, but they just don't want him to get banged up when he shouldn't. Here you see Michael Van Buren kind of trying to get comfortable in the pocket. Cortez Hankton helping direct some of the traffic. I do think you're looking at the future of LSU's quarterback room. And I know it's hard to tell, and I know we're very far away. You still got portaling. You still got recruits. You still got all this jazz that you got to figure out. But as of right now, number 11, I think, is your clear-cut choice. I think he's the favorite. I think he possesses all the skills. And I think, him being in this room with the red shirt, sitting back, taking notes, being under Garrett Nussmeier, it's going to pay dividends. And it's ironic to see Garrett Nussmeier in this situation, right? Because that was him. That was him a long time ago, sitting under a quarterback, learning, going through the motions, trying to, learn the ropes, so to speak, from a Jaden Daniels. Now he gets to 100% tables turn and be on the other side of it. Here you see Michael obviously fumbling the snap. Look, that's just a little bit of jitters, a little bit of nerves, a little bit of things you got to get out your system. Here's Juwan Johnson. Everybody's kind of interested to see how he's going to play. And one of my big takeaways with Juwan, we've said this on the show so many times. Great player, obviously asked to be in this role, but so talented, it would almost be a shame to not see him in like a hybrid position or in a spot where he can do multiple things, still playing DB, maybe still playing halfback, whatever the case may be. I don't think you limit him to just quarterback 3. Obviously, it could work, and they're going to be doing some plug-and-play forms, I'm sure, when they want mobile quarterback packages, read options, things of that nature. They'll probably substitute Nussmeier out and plug Juwan Johnson right in. I think that's the vision here that they're going with. But you can do that and also play him in a different spot, and I think that that's something that we're going to have to keep in mind going forward. And obviously, Joe Sloan's saying, all right, 8, get in there, pull 11 out, let's see how you do, let's see how you throw. I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was very, very, it was a good performance specifically for somebody who has changed positions 2 times in the year. I mean, going from defense to offense and then now to quarterback, I really haven't seen a similar transition in college football. So for how he's handling it and how he showed, his progress today, I'm thrilled with it. I think it'll be an interesting little scheme to watch. I'm sure Joe Sloan and Cortez Hankton, like I said, are going to try to find some creative packages to get them on the field, kind of using him in a gadget role. I mean, I just don't see really any other vision. I don't think this is your guy if somebody were to get hurt. I think it's clearly Michael Van Buren, and Juwan Johnson's going to kind of see more of a plug-and-play role in terms of creativity. Doesn't look bad. I just think, there's some more you can squeeze out of this. Let's talk about the offensive line room. They're about to switch right into this. You got Ethan Callaway versus Weston Davis right here on this rep. Obviously, Brad Davis is trying to get this room in tip-top shape. You got a lot of people that left. You got Will Gamble, you got Emory Jones, you got Miles Frazier, Garrett Dellinger. I mean, you name it. They are gone. The only person you returned and retained from that beautiful offensive line we've been seeing for years, honestly, is DJ Chester. Now, you're going to have to get him to 100% dump tutelage into guys like a Bo Bordelon, into guys like a Weston Davis. I think he's going to be your main consistent piece, because you're going from a situation where you had nothing but consistency, nothing but experience on the offensive line, nothing but pieces to work with, and now you're kind of at a fresh start. I mean, yeah, you know some of these backup depth pieces. Yeah, they've been on the team. But now you're going to get to really see them thrown and thrust into the environment. Perfect example right here, Weston Davis. That's another one of those talents. Cohen Eccles right here, another name that you can add to the list. We've been wondering what they're capable of. We've been watching them in spring. We've been watching them grow and develop. But where exactly are they on this progress trajectory? Where exactly are they in terms of trust with the coaching staff? Are they going to be able to get thrown out into the mix? That's what we want to figure out here. And the wide receivers, you see Nick Anderson and Destin Hill getting things started for their drills. And you got Aaron Anderson. Oh, excuse me, not right here. The next ones, you got Aaron Anderson and Xavier Thomas. I did want to preface the Destin Hill comment. He was supposed to be monitored a little bit with an injury. They had like a hamstring situation they were looking at. Looks like he's healthy. Looks like he's a go. Look like there is no worries possible with Destin Hill. Actually, excuse me, I don't think it was a hamstring. I think it was a torn ACL. My apologies. But still, regardless, the worries, they're not there. They're putting him out there. They're getting him in a situation where he can get acclimated and accustomed to the LSU scheme. Same thing for Barry Brown. Number 6, that wide receiver that just caught a pass right there. Also, super acclimated, super getting thrown into the mix. He was in that second group as well, caught a couple of passes. They're putting him in the first group sometimes too. Mixed him in with Nussmeier a couple days ago, and everybody saw that highlight. That's going to be a player that you're going to have to watch, Barry Brown. Remember I said that. If you had to compare him to any LSU talent that has been here recently, this is a crazy comparison, especially because he's still on the team. I mean, the dude's right here on the screen. It's Aaron Anderson. Because I think Aaron Anderson's role greatly grew whenever he had to be the next man up. And if LSU gets put in a situation again, they got a lot of names in that room that they can build from. Tight end room. Let me give you a brief overview of that. Donovan Green, that's number 88 right there. Tredez, obviously 14, Bar Sharp. Number 10, Giovanni Patterson, 45. And 81 is Landon Craig. This is Landon right here. With your tight end room, you know what you got. You got a dog in Tredez Green, who, like I said at the beginning of the video, is not a tight end. That dude's a wide receiver, straight up. One of the best, quite frankly, hands I've ever seen on a tight end, period. I mean, obviously the height helps. You're 6'7". You could jump out the gym. You're playing on a damn basketball team. You got an advantage over anybody if you're in single coverage. They're going to have to utilize this one perfectly. You saw a couple times out there with that wide receiver rotation when Michael Van Buren and Garrett Nussmeier were throwing, that they always had a tight end out there, and they didn't have a tight end close to the line, offset on the line of scrimmage. They had him out wide. Bear Sharp, Tredez Green, both of them. Watch them in pass coverage. Speaking of pass coverage, cornerbacks, let's talk about it. Number 8, Jakeem Jackson. You got Michael Turner out there, Ashton Stamps, P.J. Woodland, and D.J. Pickett. That's going to be some of your main pieces. Obviously, Mansour Delane, you're mixing some other guys as well. LSU, Corey Raymond, they're kind of cooking on the defensive side. That portal was jumping. You pretty much portal in a new cornerback duo. Yeah. You turned over a new leaf entirely. You had some questionable departures that made people wonder how the depth was going to be able to be handled and if the safety position was going to be kind of an outlier. I think they answered everything. And I think the more that they get comfortable in spring, the more that they play together, the more that they kind of build that chemistry, you're going to see them learn a lot more about this room and know exactly what they're capable of. Being able to put the proper rotation out there for the proper scheme. You're not going to always have the same guys, same approach, same tactics, but when you can throw them together in a spring environment, you get to see who pairs the best together. Similar to offensive line room, similar to the wide receiver room. That's not your final rotation. We're just plugging and playing, figuring it out, seeing how people quite frankly, cooperate and coexist together. Here's the linebacker spot. You got Wes Weeks right there getting tutelage from Blake Baker. Obviously, here's Devon Keys. And this is one of the biggest focuses that we have to have all spring as well. How is this Mike linebacker spot looking? How is it developing? Is Devon Keys somebody they're going to be able to throw out there hypothetically? Because if not, you know what your biggest portal need is in this second window. That's just me. This is the safety room. Deshaun Spears, obviously, number 10. He's going to be a really, really, really good look. TaMarcus Cooley, number 0. Then you got Joel Rogers at number 22. That's going to be the guys that you're going to get accustomed to in the safety room, and rightfully so. I think, like I said with the cornerback comment, you locked and loaded, and you're in a position where there really should be no more excuses. Now all you got to do is put the best product on the field. Let's get a little more of a look at Michael Van Buren, a little more look at Juwan Johnson, all these quarterbacks throwing against air. I'll double down and just talk about the quarterback room and the future of LSU football, and just the fact that they're in a situation now where you could have the best quarterback in college football, the best backup quarterback in the SEC, and one of the most interesting gadget players in terms of Juwan Johnson, because like I said, I feel like he's getting plugged and played into the game in interesting spots where mobility is needed, where some type of distraction is needed. I do expect Juwan to get on the field. I do expect him to get some type of touchdowns, but it's going to be in a non-traditional quarterback environment. I want to mention that. That's about all I got for you for this spring practice, though. Hope everybody enjoyed the breakdown. Sorry about the highlights, bro. We had the Wi-Fi shut down. We had copyright issues. We had everything under the sun go wrong. Still got it up, though. Had to hustle, grind through it, hurdle some roadblocks. Hopefully it's a lot easier on Friday for us. That's when we'll be covering the spring practice again. We'll be live. We'll break it all down for you. Please hit the thumbs up. Please hit the notification bell. And don't miss our next highlight video from LSU football's practice. Friday at noon. Mark your calendars. This has been the Verdin Verdict. I'm your host, Jacob Verdin. Y'all have a good one.